their newsletter, it said that they send from that plant in Richmond, Virginia. If you've ever been down Interstate 95 going to Washington, D.C. north, and you go past the Richmond, Virginia, Philip Morris plant where they make cigarettes, you'll see a great big tall tower that has Marlboro written on it, and that's where the factory is. Well, that one factory right there in 2003, right out of Philip Morris's newsletter they send out to their growers, that one factory was sending $7 million per day, 5 days a week, to the U.S. Treasury Department in Washington, D.C. That's $35 million a week in 2003 being sent from that one plant to Washington, D.C. to the tax man. Now, folks, you and I both know that if you got somebody sending you $35 million per week, $7 million per day, you're going to know what's going on. You're going to be right there in that factory. See, the point I'm trying to make to you is everything about the tobacco industry, from the time the seed is bred and the genetics and the varieties are developed, right on up through the time until the cigarette is smoked and it goes up in smoke, is regulated by the government of the United States of America. It has always been since 1933, and it's becoming more and more so now with the FDA taking over, which that's fine. Let the FDA take over. Maybe somebody will wake up one day and say, hey, we need to pay these farmers more money so they can grow tobacco organically, eliminate all the pesticides, insecticides, residues like growth retardants, like this MX30, which makes the plant put all its energy into the leaves to make them thicker, more richer, and eliminates any what they call sucker growth. And as you can see, there's a little sucker right there, but he's been burned out by an alcohol-based chemical called offshoot T, Fair 85, one of those chemicals, it burns it. See it right there? Well, if you didn't do that and put the growth harder, it'll grow and get as big as these other leaves and take all the energy from the good leaves that we want to be rich in nicotine, and it just won't make anything that's worth salvaging. So the thing about it is, everything in the tobacco industry is nothing new under the sun. You know, everybody knew what was going on. It's all done in the public domain. Everybody knew what was going on, but you had to be around the industry or be in it. You couldn't be, you know, another job like in Washington, D.C., being a congressman or a senator and never had anything to know about the tobacco industry and really understand it. Sometimes you got to get your boots on the ground and get in the field and see what's going on. You know, it's an education process. And like I said, do away with all the things that are being put on the tobacco and do it organically. Just like organic food in the grocery store. What would you rather have? Well, all we got to do is allocate $1.01. $1.01 from the price of a pack of cigarettes and give it to the farmer to grow the tobacco organically. And I think that's fair, because Uncle Sam, the federal tax man, United States government, their share is $1.01. So if the government, the federal government, and this doesn't include the state taxes, just the federal tax is $1.01, that ought to be fair for the farmer who's doing the work, growing the tobacco, $1.01. Don't you see? Why not let the man who's doing all the work, creating the wealth, share in it? Right now, a farmer gets 8 cents, 8 pennies from the price of the pack of a cigarette. So you pay $3 for a pack of cigarette, $1.01 goes to the United States federal government tax, 8 cents goes to the farmer. Then you have the state tax in there getting a share, which varies from each state. Then you have master tobacco settlement money that was passed in '98, they're paying that off. Don't you see? Everybody's getting all the money except the ones doing the work. Because the lawyers have told everybody, be quiet, we talking, we in charge. The politicians and lawyers have got together and captivated 50 million American people. Think about that, 50 million American people. Really, they have enslaved them to pay all this money in, and at the same time have not allocated any money to fix the problem. But I knew this, the tobacco farmers are not manipulating nicotine to addict you. The cigarette companies are not manipulating nicotine to addict you. What they're doing is manipulating the nicotine to get it to the right level so you can consume it. Yes, you have to manipulate it, but it's not for the purpose to addict you, it's for the purpose to satisfy the desire to smoke, because nicotine is a drug. We've known it's been a drug since way back in the 1800s. One of the first Webster's dictionary says nicotine known as to be a narcotic. Man, this ain't nothing new. The 1918 U.S. drug list had nicotine on it. Nicotine, heroin, cocaine, and marijuana, it was all on there. But later on, somebody said, let's take nicotine off. It's been a known fact for a long time. What we're missing, in my opinion, is getting together and working together and talking about fixing the problems. Now, they used to do that. When the government was involved, you could go and they'd really sit down publicly, openly talk about fixing the problems. But now everybody says, shh, 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 be quiet, be quiet. Let me do the talking for you. I'm a lawyer. Oh, by the way, send me about $200 million for my share of me talking. 100 million, 2 million, 10 million. Think about it. Low nicotine tobacco is banned. Can't grow it. It's got to meet something called minimum standards that the tobacco companies want. And the attorney generals said in their lawsuit, the lead attorney general, Christine Gregoire, said the minimum standards program is key to keeping everybody addicted to cigarettes. Well, that's a program that's part of the North Carolina tobacco seed law enforced by Christine Gregoire and the other 49 state attorney generals that when they were state attorney generals in 1998. So see, the attorney general sued everybody for the laws that they enforced on them. Now that's really wrong. If you obey the law, you expect that you're within the law to be protected. But the rule of law is supposed to protect you. But the rule of law is not supposed to punish you when you obey the law. I still believe one day it's going to come out and people are going to see what really happened.